Hi, I'm Pox.
I'm Couch Guy.
You're watching the Two Smart Guys show, and we've got a special guest via phone.
We do have a audio guest via
Yes.
phone right now. We are Mr. Ziggy is joining us from his undisclosed bunker, and with good reason because this is our or what I consider one of my favorite episodes upcoming. It's because NAB is on the way, so the three of us plan to go to NAB and kind of commiserate together. So we were chatting about hotels and stuff, and we decided we'd do a show. Well, at least Pox decided we'd do a show about rumors, which Ziggy and I can't find a rumor that we actually care about.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
No, okay, ask him. Have you found a rumor that you care about? Or hasn't something already in the wild?
What I've been looking for, I haven't found what I've been looking for, but what I've been looking for is new camera.
Well, see, right now we were talking about 4K. So Panasonic, we know, is going to be in the field. They have announced their Vericam and they've announced the GH4. The GH4 SLR with an additional base that you can put on that really adds some cool functionality runs somewhere in the neighborhood of just under $4,000. On the other hand, the Vericam will run you probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $60,000. That's a guess because the pricing is not put out yet. Sony really hasn't said much about what they're putting out, which is kind of rare. Which makes me think they're not putting out much. They've got the F55, which is doing amazing for them right now.
They're going to release a new
the
format.
F65.
They do it every year.
They might as well. They've got the F65 still plunking around. Ari may put out a camera. Honestly, that's what I should expect. Because their current camera runs 2K. It's not unreasonable to think they would put a 4K model out. But at the same time, Ari doesn't care. They've got the lead in a lot of these markets anyway. They're the choice because they've got the best dynamic range. They've got a built-in workflow that's people love. It's, a lot of productions love the Ari camera. We know Red's going to come up with something. They always do. Their Dragon sensor is shipping, I think, and that's a 6K sensor. So I don't think they're going to put a new sensor out. Oh, I thought it was shipping.
I'm just saying. I thought it had been shipping for a while.
I'll say that their 6K their Dragon sensor has been shipping. So, but they deployed that or they announced that and information about that last year. But I don't see them putting out a major camera upgrade unless it's something to do with the Scarlett. They may, if they do, it'll be another upgrade above Dragon, which doesn't make sense. They may do their projector or the Red Ray.
Oh, yeah.
Actually put it out in the field.
Yeah, 2 years ago they announced that Red Ray projector, the 4K projector, was going to be $10,000.
And they've been talking about their projector a little bit here and there. And they've been showing some hints at this projector.
And I watched a movie. I watched the short from Ridley Scott, and it looked really good. It was in 3D and 4K.
I haven't been catching up reading through the forums on Red just because I get so overwhelmed by Red during NAB that I don't I don't read a lot of the stuff. There's so many people talking about it. But we're gonna go to Pox and I are gonna go to the Red party on Sunday night. So we'll get you an update on what they're deploying then. Blackmagic.
Didn't Red have? Weren't they showing like an octocopter or something in their display last year?
They were showing it, but it wasn't theirs. They were using someone else's octocopter, and they were just putting Reds on them. There's been a lot of. Okay, so let's see. To round out cameras, we would have JVC's negatable. There's been a couple of Chinese manufacturers of 4K cameras that have been showing up here and there. We finally have a digital Bolex which was met with woo, because by then 4K's out. So unless we have a 4K upgrade to that, Canon may put out some new DSLR stuff. I don't see them putting out another big camera because their C500 is doing really well. Their C300 is doing really well, and their C100 is their entrance into that group.
Well,
so
the rumor is a 7D sequel. Another.
I was gonna say, I see an SLR. I see maybe an SLR, edition here and there, kind of like they did the 5D Mark III last year. But
what was the year before last?
Was it the year before last?
Yeah, the rumor is that there might even be a 5D Mark IV.
Well, that might be, I don't. What I'm saying is, right now there's a lot of. Whereas every other year we've seen like a hole in the market. A couple years ago, the C500 filled the 4K hole for Canon. That hole doesn't exist unless someone's pushing the resolution boundary again. Which
I'll tell you where the hole exists.
What's that?
That is a $2,000 camera with XLRs built in. Really make
but that's not going to happen. That's the hard
Why
part.
not?
That's not going to happen. You're going to buy a Tascam like 60D, like I just did the other day, for one of our guys that shoots on an SLR. It's $200 now. It's $200 for something that was $500 last year, and you're putting it on a $900 camera, and that's it. There's your 2,000 sub 2,000 full kit. You're done.
Yeah.
Not great, but it's done.
So workaround. That's what I call it.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. But it's not really economical to build that big sensor camera with it that way. We're just not seeing it. We're seeing it in the $4,000, $5,000 range, but not higher, not lower. Blackmagic just barely started putting out their 4K camera, which has got a whole bunch of complaints about needs for firmware upgrades,
and a lot of dead pixels in the sensor.
Yeah,
well, they were plagued with sensor problems. That's what stopped the deployment of it originally from being there on schedule. So I'm curious whether or not Blackmagic is going to do what they've done in previous years and just plop down an 8K camera and say, here's our new camera, and just be done with it. They don't have they still have barely got 2.5 working.
Well, this rumor here on what site is this? Cinegreen. This rumor says they're going to put out a 6K camera this year.
Yeah, I can imagine them putting out a new camera. Just because, as much as I love Blackmagic is stupid enough to do it. Seriously, it's a race. But I don't see him putting out a 6K because Dragon's already a 6K. I think if I were Blackmagic, I'd put in an 8K camera. I would just double down and say, all right, here's 8K. We know it's going to go there, and now you can't complain about it if we take a year to bring it out. Because everyone else is just barely doing 4K.
It's the same as their last camera. I mean,
I know
they're gonna release it, and it's gonna be 2 years before it's really any good. And even if then,
but in 2 years they're gonna put a 16K camera out, so it's not gonna matter. I can see them being ridiculous about it.
There's a reason why companies like Canon and Sony put out the cameras they do with the chips that they have in them. They make
and they're measured. They're measured deployments also.
And Blackmagic, I think, is they're getting their chips from cheap manufacturers. And remember how many problems they've been having with getting enough chips to start with, and then
and I think that was the problem with the first 2.5K. They weren't ready for people to accept it, so they didn't have enough inventory. And then they redesigned the 4K model because I think they had issues with some of the stuff with overheating. I don't know, something happened with the sensors they were going to use, and they had to do redesign work. They had to do a new sensor, and that slowed them down because they had to put out what they promised. So I don't know. I'm just saying I would not be shocked if Blackmagic said, "Oh, we just announced an 8K camera," because at that point they become the resolution leader against everybody. Because Red doesn't even have an 8K camera out right now.
Yeah, but what the hell good is it if it's not ready for 2 years?
It's all about who has the bigger set of balls. That's all it is. It doesn't matter. If they could put it out, if they could actually get it functional in 12 months, they'd win. It's just done.
Well, here's the problem with the pissing contest. It doesn't matter how far you can piss if you're pissing on your clients.
Well, I agree. I'm the chief one of bitching about how badly I dislike the way that Red's approach, or that Blackmagic has taken the approach like Red did at first, which is just like resolution. That's all that matters. And the Red one didn't work very well when they were putting out the next version.
Right.
Like they were just pushing them out, just to get them out the door. And Blackmagic has started doing that. We're just pushing them out to get out the door. And finally, Red had to stop, fix it, and then start building again. And that's why Scarlet took so long to come out, and that's why they kind of changed there with the Mysterious sensor and all that kind of stuff.
It's interesting, though, because the global shutter on the Blackmagic sounds like it's kind of a unique thing that actually works.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually. I think the conclusion of all this is going to be us all just giving up and buying a little GoPro 4K camera that's going to come out this year.
That's going to be interesting. So, beyond cameras, which is where I'll spend a whole bunch of time when we're there at first, we're probably going to see a huge number of display manufacturers coming out, which weren't there last year. Because we know through CES, for POX going to CES, that we've got 4K out the wazoo coming. And we've got probably, I would say, some probably impressive displays of H.265 being used for compression for 4K. I think that will be the next major development, in my opinion. I'm personally... Go ahead.
That and a player. Some type of player.
You need a player, but I think that we'll start seeing the encoding coming out and saying, look how awesome.
Yeah, there's probably going to be new codecs and formats and delivery systems and of course more on the editing. Adobe's probably going to say that there are new versions made for 4K. We know that Adobe Premiere can edit 4K without a problem with the right machine. We know that. We've seen a lot of people do it. I think they're going to rebrand everything, though. Everybody's going to say this year, this update makes it actually possible.
I don't know, because CC can do 4K. Like, there's not, like, it wasn't like CS6 could kind of do it okay. CC can do it. And they've been doing it. So I don't know that they would take that approach, because especially since the big change that Adobe made last year, I think they're just going to prove that they've had a product that's been really well and worked really well and been adopted. They're just basically going to step on the head and twist on Avid a little bit harder and just be done. The one thing that I'm interested in is the new Ninja product from Atomos, and whether or not they're going to put out a new device. Because I'm really interested in that product because I like it better than the the Odyssey recorder.
Q7.
Yeah, the Q7. Because Q7's making you pay for formats, and it's probably about 6 times as much. I would really like to see Atomos come out with a 4K recorder, and that would be interesting to me. I have to spend some time with Teradek. New job has to have that to do with it, but Teradek has some new stuff. I know that Pete is... go ahead.
The thing I do like about that Q7 is that you can record slow motion off that FS700 Sony camera.
Absolutely. No, hands down. The Q7 is an amazing system. Like the fact that, you can do multiple streams, multiple recordings if you're doing it in a certain resolution, or you can do the raw frame for frame on some of these systems. It's a great piece, but it's way out of my price range, so I have to kind of hope for something different. Yeah, and I don't want to pay per. I know they'll license you for a week and they'll rent you codecs, and I just don't want to deal with it. Ziggy's also interested in quadcopters and octocopters this year. I can imagine there's not going to be an enormous amount of flying systems and stabilization systems between the octocopter from FreeFly and the Movi system from FreeFly and all the systems we saw last year. I expect this to be exponential, even more.
Listen to this. This guy's saying there's
I'm losing you.
1,000 Chinese manufacturers of Movi, like, they've got the ideas anyhow. And,
oh yeah, well the thing is, the Movi thing. The Movi thing wasn't a new innovation as it was much as a new way to use a current technology. So it's just a way, like they were just the first, and they will be the best because they're first. But they won't be the only one.
If you really look at that for the price, he gets $15,000 for these, and it's a 2-operator system.
Yeah.
But how many people use a Steadicam every shoot? You very seldom use a Steadicam.
Oh, it's a specialty piece of equipment, and that's why it's so expensive, because specialty pieces of equipment are the most expensive because you buy them and then you charge a crap load of money for them. It's like, remember jibs? Jibs are the same way. You saw that when you bought a jib. A jib is a specialty piece of equipment. They're exceptionally expensive, but they also retain a ton of value because of it,
They sure make pretty pictures.
And they make great pictures. Pox, what else? What do you think?
Well, even that smoke that you guys rented when you were at PBS, that made nice pictures. I mean, inside. And they have that, Kessler has that little portable backpack jib now. That I would really love to have.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the Kessler, I wonder what Kessler's putting out, because Kessler put out their CineDrive last year, and I know they've been perfecting that. They haven't had, from what I can tell, anything but rave reviews about their systems that they've been putting out. So
they're putting out what's called a parallax
the parallax system
attachment.
But that was announced last year.
Right. But it's a pretty cool little outfit. It basically has a little turntable on it with a armature that comes off it, and that armature slides along a bar that you attach to the side of the slider. And you can angle that bar so that as it slides along, it pulls back on that armature, and it will turn your camera right or left.
Yeah, and so that you can actually follow a fixed object.
Right. And the thing that's great for like product shots, or you can set up the one controller to where it will just move back and forth on the slider, all day long. So you can set it up to where you're shooting with a second camera on an interviewer, and you've got a second camera operator there without the expense. One-time expense of the parallax adapter.
I tell you, I bought one of those silly sliders last year and ended up selling it to my work. I should have kept it.
Hey, what? It didn't work?
Oh, it worked beautiful. I just got home and I shouldn't really talk about this on YouTube's, but I got home and I got a little bit of pressure to sell it to my employer. So I did what all good Tobies who want to keep their jobs do, is sell it. So.
Well, there you go. At least you get to use it still.
Well, I'll fill you in on the details on that one.
Okay.
I don't work there anymore. Let's put it that way. I didn't keep that job.
There you
go. Let's see. What do you think, Pox? There's a whole bunch of stuff coming out. There's not. See, my problem is with all the rumors. Yeah, there's matte boxes and there's little new.
We've got
there's nothing that's like the showstopper.
We got another week. We can talk about more next week.
I think next week we're going to start seeing the cameras really come deploy. I have to say, of any group that I absolutely respect the fact they keep their mouth shut and they make everyone keep their mouth shut, is Blackmagic. There has never been a peep of their rumors coming out anywhere that I've seen before the event happens. Like, you find it the night before, because when you're at a party and you see like something like that and somebody starts tweeting. So by the time it's Sunday night, everyone will know. But it's only because they wait until the absolute minute. And then the show happens.
That's because they make it up on Sunday afternoon.
There you go.
Might as well.
But they have it on the floor, though. That's the thing. They have a working product on the floor on Monday.
Yeah, I was going to say that they've kept the... Think about last year. Last year at the 4K, no one knew about that until the Sunday before when we were at the big party. And there was a couple of signs up, and nobody brought attention to them. It was like you had to pay attention to what was going on, and you saw the sign. And you see people start tweeting about it, and you're like, "Oh crap," And then on Monday morning on the floor, it's the thing that everyone swarms their booth, and they're the big booth, on Monday. So I don't know. Canon can't keep their people's mouth shut. Sony can't keep their people's mouth shut very well. Panasonic doesn't want to keep their mouth shut because they barely put anything out.
Well, Sony hires a bunch of young interns and puts them out on the floor with white shirts on, and any of those kids, I'm sure will be tweeting their friends and all kinds of stuff before the show.
Sure.
So.
Don't say anything bad about them because they watch our show.
Sony does?
Well,
yeah. I like Sony.
That's
I
not
wish
bad.
I had more
that's just
Sony
a
stuff.
fact.
No, I was just saying, like, if anybody, of these big companies, the only one that I can think of right now, if RA came out with a new camera, it would be a surprise to me. But I can see him doing it. But of the major camera releases we've had coming up, the only one we didn't know about weeks before the show was the Blackmagic 4K.
Yeah.
That's the only one. Everything else we've had rumors of, hints of. We knew about the FS700. We knew about the F5. We knew about the F55. The F3. Hell, we knew about the F3 before it came out. Because they start putting pictures of it a month beforehand. I think they want to generate buzz. And they want to have, people knowing about it and talking about it and wanting to shoot it with it and requesting it before they even get there. So.
Hey, I saw an F3 go on eBay here a few months ago for about, I think it was like $3,500.
Oh, you've got to be kidding.
No. And I mean, you can get one right now for about $5,000.
I can't find one for $5,000.
Look on eBay.
Probably broken.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting rid of them because, the price that they have in those. I think they were going for $12,000 or something like that. They don't do what the FS700 does.
No, that's true. So, they don't do that, but they make a nicer picture than
they make a nicer
with the
picture,
PL lenses and things like that.
About 50% of us are shooting for the web.
Oh no, I don't shoot any different for the web than I do for real life.
I don't know. You could argue though that a lot of the stuff on the web looks better than what you end up with on satellite dish. Or
I have actually started making the argument because I have ran into this. My new position is 100% web creation, and I keep on dealing with these individuals who are TV guys, and they're friends of mine, and they're like, "Well, it doesn't matter. You're just shooting for the web anyway," and I kind of begrudgingly have to keep my mouth shut because I'd still work with them and not be rude. But the last 2 events that I've worked with TV on, they ended up pumping it to their sub channel, which was SD, and down converted HD to SD while I pumped it out at 720p. Reality, I pumped out a higher resolution image than the TV did, and it's permanently there, available to watch whenever you want to.
Heck, we're streaming 1080p right now.
Yeah, and it's there's nothing. Most of people don't understand their Netflix HD is only 720. We see more 720 than we even know about. The web deals better with 720, but we're going to see more 4K come through web development and web, help than we ever will see from traditional broadcasters.
When HD first came out, all the big sports arenas and whatnot bought all those JVC cameras because they were 720. They were HD, and they were so much less expensive than the others, and they were set up with studio kits, and they outfitted them, and they called it HD, and nobody knew any different.
720p can look better, I hate to admit this, than 1080. 720p versus a 1080 interlaced. 1080 interlaced looks like crap compared to a 720p signal. It's just because of progressive frame.
You look at the HD sets that they first came out with, they were crap anyhow.
Yeah. I just wonder whether or not, I have to do a lot of web research at this NAB, which is a new thing for me. I'm going to have to actually do a lot more scavenging and a lot less camera sitting and watching this time. But I am going to be interested in seeing what kind of content options are coming out, what kind of things they're going to do for strictly aimed at web deployment. Because while we're all broadcasters, there are more channel options opening up every single day from a streaming perspective than there can be done otherwise. So your content deployment groups like Vimeo and YouTube are the tip of this iceberg in terms of like I know Pox, you're looking for IPTV stuff. It's all of it. We're all going to go that way. It just depends on, whose piece of the pie you're in.
Right. And, it's not going to be very long till all these cable companies are going to turn into internet providers, and that's it.
Well, they are internet providers. Have you noticed that Comcast has a new name?
No.
You haven't noticed Comcast's new name?
No.
It's Xfinity.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Xfinity. That's their internet name.
Sounds like somebody.
And soon enough, they're going to kill Comcast, and it's going to be Xfinity. So
sounds like somebody sneezed.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. The other thing that I find appalling is that you have DirecTV and Comcast putting a stranglehold on sports streaming. Have you? I don't watch a lot of sports, but I found this out from people who do, and I don't know if the two of you have noticed this either. But for instance, if you want to watch Major League Baseball or ESPN online and things like that, it's great. You can get to it, and then you have to put your subscriber name, number, and email address in for your Comcast or your Dish or your something else, Verizon cable subscription to get access at all. Otherwise, you will not be given access.
Right. I wonder if they can get access through Hulu.
No, they don't. That's the thing. They are not giving access. It's not the fact that ESPN doesn't want to. It's that they made a deal with these groups that they have to go through them.
Yeah.
Which means you have to have traditional TV, or at least a TV source, to get access to this stuff.
All they need to do is monetize it somehow, and then they'll drop the cable companies like a hot rock.
But that's the problem. I'll let you in on my thoughts. I don't know if Pox, we've talked about this a little bit. I don't know what we were going to talk about on air. But to me, Netflix had an opportunity they lost. One, they screwed the world with their most recent net neutrality harpoon, where they're now paying for access directly to Comcast servers. That killed net neutrality. We're just done.
Well,
two,
that's overblown. It's actually a peering agreement, which is something you do with internet services all the time.
Yeah, but the problem is that they only have it with Comcast. Peering agreements are for data access, not for content.
It's for data.
Comcast was throttling their customers against Netflix, and they got what they wanted out of it. They got Netflix to pony up more money for them directly. The other thing is Netflix, if they had, pushed their muscle, you could have said, "Oh, I want a premium channel, streaming package, and got HBO and Cinemax and all these other things, and done like 4 or 5 channels for an extra $4, $5 a month." The same thing for sports. I want to have the football package. I want to have the baseball package. I want to have the basketball package, and you pay an extra $8 a month, and you get access to those events via Netflix. That's the best way for me to see it happening. Is that, you have this huge number of people with Netflix. If you were to say, all right, for an extra $6 a month, we can add the sports package, which would include ESPN streaming events and Fox Sports streaming events, and just like 4 or 5, Major League Baseball or hockey or something like that. People will go gangbusters for that, and it's just an extra add-on. You just put it into the thing, and here's your regular, here's your extra account, here's this, and just tax them on. I don't know. I think that would be really the smartest growth development for this, but once again, it focuses all the eggs in one basket. We're backing in just one provider.
All right. Well,
yeah.
I think we should end the stream because
we have digressed a little bit.
It's kind of long.
Wow.
We've gone for about almost an hour.
There you go.
Well, I guess just a half hour on YouTube though.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up. We'll have another show before we go, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of shows while we're there. Hey, I'll ask you this after we're off the air. So we'll wrap this show up.
Thank you for watching. If you followed below, post in the comments. What do you think is going to be the most exciting thing at NAB?
What's most interesting to you?
Yeah. What do you want to see? What do you want us to look for at the show?
Hey, we'll take some video of it, or we'll at least talk about it.
We'll do live shows every Wednesday night at 8:30 Mountain Time, and
I'm sure we'll hit you from the floor on NAB at some point.
And for the next few weeks, these will be the live shows. Will be our final shows. So that also the immediate show that comes out is the live one. So
because we're on YouTube again.
All right, bye. Week.
Comment, subscribe.
See you later.